The untold truth about Satanism is far more complex than what popular culture portrays. When most people hear Satanism, they immediately conjure images of devil worship, animal sacrifices, and dark rituals. But the reality might surprise you. Modern Satanism is largely misunderstood, with its origins tracing back to the 1960s, when Anton LaVey founded the Church of Satan in San Francisco. LaVey's version wasn't about worshiping a literal devil, but rather embraced Satan as a symbol of rebellion against religious dogma. What many don't realize is that most Satanists today are actually atheists. The largest satanic organization, the Satanic Temple, explicitly states they don't believe in supernatural entities, including Satan himself. Instead, they use Satan as a literary figure, representing opposition to arbitrary authority and promotion of personal sovereignty. The 7 tenets of the Satanic Temple focus on compassion, justice, bodily autonomy, and scientific understanding, principles that might shock those expecting something sinister. Their activism often centers on separation of church and state, reproductive rights, and religious freedom for all. Historically, accusations of Satanism have been weaponized against marginalized groups. During the Middle Ages, women healers were branded as witches in league with Satan. The Satanic Panic of the 1980s and 90s saw daycare workers falsely accused of ritualistic abuse, destroying innocent lives, while real abusers often escaped scrutiny. Even today, politicians and religious leaders use Satanism as a convenient boogeyman to distract from real issues. When you hear claims about satanic conspiracies, it's worth asking who benefits from spreading such fear. The aesthetic of Satanism, the pentagrams, black clothing, and provocative imagery, is intentionally transgressive, designed to challenge social norms and religious sensibilities. It's theatrical, not theological. What's particularly interesting is how satanic groups use religious freedom laws to challenge Christian dominance in public spaces. When a Ten Commandments monument appears on government property, the Satanic Temple often responds by requesting equal representation with their Baphomet statue, not because they worship Baphomet, but to highlight religious favoritism. The legal protections afforded to Satanism reveal an important truth about American religious liberty. It must apply to all or none. This principle has made the Satanic Temple an unlikely champion for religious pluralism. Media portrayals continue to sensationalize Satanism, perpetuating myths about ritual sacrifice and evil conspiracies. These depictions bear little resemblance to actual satanic practice, but generate clicks and views through fear. The psychological appeal of Satanism often lies in its emphasis on individualism and rejection of shame-based morality. For people raised in restrictive religious environments, satanic philosophy can offer liberation from guilt and self-loathing. Perhaps most surprising is Satanism's emphasis on ethics. LaVeyan Satanism promotes personal responsibility and avoiding harm to others unless provoked. The Satanic Temple advocates for compassion and empathy, hardly the evil stereotype many expect. The diversity within Satanism is rarely acknowledged. Some practitioners are drawn to its philosophical aspects, others to its aesthetic, and still others to its political activism. There's no single satanic experience or belief system. The historical Satan has evolved dramatically over centuries. In early Hebrew texts, Satan was simply an adversarial role, not a specific entity. The horned, red-skinned devil is largely a medieval European invention, combining pagan deities with Christian fears. Modern Satanism's relationship with Christianity is complex. While rejecting Christian doctrine, Satanism remains defined in opposition to it, making the two religions strangely interdependent. Without Christianity's Satan concept, modern Satanism wouldn't exist in its current form. The truth about Satanism challenges us to examine how easily we accept narratives about evil others without investigation. It reveals more about human psychology and social dynamics than it does about supernatural forces. Whether you find Satanism appealing or appalling, understanding its actual beliefs and practices rather than its caricature provides insight into religious liberty, moral philosophy, and the power of symbols in human society. In a world increasingly divided by ideology, perhaps the most valuable lesson from examining Satanism is learning to look beyond labels and fear-mongering to understand different perspectives, even those that initially seem threatening or alien to our own worldview. The untold truth about Satanism isn't about hidden evil. It's about how easily we're manipulated by fear and how important it is to question what we're told to fear.